You would agree that each of us wants to get a bit extreme from time to time. And what is more thrilling than skydiving? Adventure lovers seek to go higher and higher to enjoy a bird's-eye view of the Earth. But this is not enough for the most daring skydivers. Some of them dream to rise high above the clouds and jump from space. Is this possible? And what end awaits these brave thrill-seekers? Let us imagine that some daredevil skydiver got seriously interested in this idea and decided to bring it to life. First, it's likely that this person would try to study the existing experience of jumping from great altitudes. And they would probably find out that Austrian Felix Baumgartner jumped from 39 kilometers, or 24 miles above the Earth back in the year 2012. He took off in a balloon over the city of Roswell, New Mexico in the USA, and then commenced his dive by taking a step out of the passenger capsule attached to the balloon. Felix fell at a speed of 377 meters, or 1,237 feet per second. Amazingly, he overcame the sound barrier and became the first person to do this without an engine. Freefall time was 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Then Baumgartner opened his parachute and landed safely, suffering no significant injuries or trauma. However, this intrepid record holder from Austria did risk his life. Overloads caused by strong rotation during a freefall could have led to a loss of consciousness and death. However, real fans of extreme sports don't get scared. They'll not give up their fervent plans to skydive from space. But first, how can one get there? Passenger rockets haven't even begun to fly into space yet. The skydiver may hit on the idea of building a balloon for the flight, like that of Baumgartner's, only much larger, robust, and reliable. But balloons fly due to the fact that gas density inside them is lower than the density of the surrounding air. There's no air in space, so it's not possible to reach orbit this way. Having realized that, our fearless skydiver will likely continue to search on the internet for a way to reach his cosmic destination. He or she will certainly come across the information that SpaceX has entered into an agreement with the concern Axiom Space regarding on-orbit delivery of tourists beginning in the year 2021. True, the cost for one passenger is quite exorbitant, approximately $55 million for a round-trip ticket. However, let's assume that our bold skydiver found the money required for a ticket. After that, there will follow months of a wearisome wait before the flight starts. But we'll help our hero by mentally scrolling the clock hands forward. Okay, let's say that they're already on board the International Space Station, being occupied with full equipping before the jump. First of all, they're attaching a parachute. It would be impossible to land without it. Of course, they're getting into a spacesuit which is equipped with oxygen canisters. Still, they'll need protection from cosmic radiation and a temperature control system so as not to die from heat when entering the atmosphere. Now everything is ready, and our daredevil can step off the station without hesitation. You might think that they'll fly downwards towards Earth, like all parachute jumpers. But a jump from the ISS is very different from a parachute jump from an airplane, which distance of descent does not exceed 4.6 kilometers or 2.86 miles as a rule. It takes at least 340 kilometers or 211 miles to fly down from the ISS to the surface of our planet. In other words, a person who took a jump will be at an altitude almost 81 times higher than an ordinary skydiver, and 8.7 times higher than Felix Baumgartner. The key factor in their journey to Earth will be the speed at which the ISS moves around the planet. Many believe that the station moves very slowly, or even hovers in space, motionless. But this isn't so. The ISS moves in orbit at a speed of slightly less than 8 kilometers or 5 miles per second. The skydiver has now pushed off from the ISS and begins to move away from the station, while their speed relative to the Earth will not practically change. Thus, they would simply settle into a slightly different orbit and would continue to spin around the planet. However, they won't fall to the ground. Or, well, they won't do it right away. Under an ideal combination of circumstances, a new orbit of the skydiver may cross the ISS orbit. And in theory, if the skydiver suddenly changes their mind, continuing a free fall, they might be picked up one of the next times around of the ISS, and with no orbital maneuvers needed to be accomplished. But the thrill seeker, of course, will be unlikely to give up and will continue with their journey. Then they'll spin very fast, at the speed of the space station. In order to reduce orbital velocity, the thrill seeker will need to push off in a direction opposite to that of the ISS. Although in this case, it'll be years before they slow down so much that they fall to the Earth. The brave skydiver will need a huge supply of oxygen, food, and water in order to survive during this long flight in orbit. And no modern spacesuit can provide this. It needs rather an entire space yacht, filled with foodstuffs and other necessary things. Nevertheless, let us assume hypothetically that the problem with oxygen and foodstuffs for our skydiver has been somehow solved. Unfortunately, even in this case, their life will be under lethal risk. At any moment, they may encounter the remnants of destroyed satellites and other debris, which could turn into a serious threat in space. This trash moves in orbit at a wild speed of up to 28,000 kilometers or 17,000 miles an hour. And even if a small fragment of this orbital shrapnel hit the space traveler, most likely it would kill them. Or it could hurt their spacesuit. Then the adventurer would run out of oxygen, which also again means certain death. There's so much garbage in space that collisions, if you lack maneuvering ability, can hardly be avoided. But let's say the skydiver did it. Over time, the skydiver will begin to slow down gradually and approach the Earth. This is not the case with the ISS, since its engines enable it to accelerate itself and maintain altitude. However, entering the atmosphere doesn't mean for the skydiver that the most difficult part of the trip has come to an end. Our skydiver will move 3 times faster than the speed of sound. In this case, an overload that they will have to experience that will reach 8 Gs. That's 8 times more than on the Earth's surface. If the skydiver goes down feet first, then an overload as high as this will make their blood rush to their head, and most likely it will cause them to faint and then die. There's a chance, though, that the traveler's body will survive this difficult test. But our daredevil skydiver will definitely not survive the expected extreme temperature when entering the atmosphere. Air molecules hitting the spacesuit will slow down around it, causing aerodynamic heating. But at the super high speed at which the skydiver enters the atmosphere, the issue is not just about warming up a spacesuit. It'll be well fried at 1600 degrees Celsius or about 2900 Fahrenheit and higher. Even steel melts at this temperature. In other words, our skydiver will burn before they reach the Earth. However, let's rescue our brave skydiver again, assuming that they miraculously managed to safely enter the atmosphere. If they successfully open a parachute 1 kilometer or 0.6 miles above the Earth, they'll easily land on the surface. And no doubt that the daredevil skydiver would deserve all sorts of honors as a reward for this fearless act. And their friends, children, and grandchildren will listen with admiration to their stories about the incredible jump. That's a great finale. Unfortunately, it's only possible in theory right now. But no doubt, one day, scientists will create a special spacesuit for skydivers. It will protect lovers of extreme sports from all the deadly risks that I have listed. Tell me what you think. When do you think this will happen? And what other dangers, in your opinion, await skydivers when they jump from orbit? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, Click on the bell so you don't miss new releases. Together, we're going to go on many more amazing journeys online. And don't forget to invite your friends. It's much more fun together.